Hey everyone, welcome back to a new and amazing After Effects tutorial. Today, we are going to create this awesome animation. Before we start, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. And you will get the project file link in the description. So let's get started. Open After Effects and create a new composition. Call it Main Ball Holder 1. Set its height to 16:9 ratio, and then press OK. Next, create another composition and name it Ball Holder 1. Set its width and height to 500 pixels by 500 pixels. Now, select the Circle tool by pressing double Q on your keyboard. Double-click on the Circle option to create a perfect circle in the composition. Duplicate the circle layer by pressing Ctrl+D. Change the color of the original circle to white and decrease its opacity to 12%. For the duplicate circle, change its scale to 35. Then apply the gradient ramp effect to it. Adjust the gradient points closer to the middle of the circle and set one gradient color to dark blue. Next, go to the Main Ball Holder 1 composition and drag and drop the Ball Holder 1 composition into it. Hide this layer, then select the Pen tool. Change its fill to None and set its stroke to around 5 pixels. Draw a line in the composition like this. Select this line layer, go to the search bar and search for path. Copy its path by pressing Ctrl+C on your keyboard. Now select the Ball Holder 1 layer and paste the path into its position, like so. Select all the keyframes and bring them closer to around 1 second and 15 frames. After that, decrease the scale to 60% for the Ball Holder 1 layer and increase the stroke of the line layer to around 12 pixels. Go to the Add option and add Trim Path. Under the Trim path, create a keyframe for the end and start values. Change the end value to 0 at the beginning. Move a few frames ahead and change the value to 100 for both the end and start options. Adjust all the keyframes accordingly. And offset the start value by a few frames so it moves along the circle like a tail. Now select the line layer, go to the search bar and search for taper. Increase the start length to 50%. Double-click on the line layer, go to Layer Style and select Gradient Overlay. Under Gradient Overlay, select Edit Gradient and change it to whatever color you like. Press OK. Select the Rectangle tool and create a rectangle. Set its stroke to None and its fill to dark blue. Rotate the rectangle layer by 45 degrees and position it above the circle layer so it looks like the circle is hitting the rectangle. Right-click in the timeline and create a new null object. Parent the rectangle layer to the null object. Press P for position and create a keyframe. Move the position of the null object upward. Go a few frames ahead and move its position downward. Rename the rectangle layer and change its color for better clarity. Select the rectangle layer, choose the pen tool, and change it to the mask option. Create a mask from the middle of the rectangle so it looks like the circle is hitting and breaking it. Duplicate the rectangle layer and invert its mask. Create keyframes for the position and rotation of the rectangle. Move one frame ahead, adjust its position slightly, and rotate it. Repeat the same for the duplicate rectangle layer. Double-click on the rectangle layer, go to Layer Style, and select Bevel and Emboss. Change the dark color to dark blue and the lighter color to light blue. Then increase its size. Duplicate the layer style and paste it onto the other rectangle layer. If there's a glitch in the rectangle layer, duplicate it once more. Delete the mask from the duplicate layer and cut this layer one frame before the keyframes. Place all the rectangle layers behind all other layers. Now, select the circle layer and create a perfect circle by holding the Shift key. Position it over the rectangle layer. Press S for scale, create a keyframe, and set its scale to 0 at the beginning. Add a keyframe for the opacity and set it to 0 at the end. Press F9 for easy ease. Adjust the graph editor like this. This circle will show the impact when circle layer will hit the rectangle. Create a new composition and call it background lines. Set its ratio to 16:9 ratio and press OK. Right-click on the timeline, create a new solid layer and call it background line. Go to the Effects and Presets panel, search for Fractal Noise, and apply it. Change the fractal type to Max and the noise type to Block. Increase the contrast slightly and decrease the brightness. Go to the Transform options, unlink the scale dimensions, and set the width to 1200 and the height to 20. Create a keyframe for offset turbulence. Move a few frames ahead and set it to around -20,000. Go back to the main ball holder 1 composition and drag the background lines composition into it. Rotate it by 40 degrees and apply the CC repetal effect. Adjust its size. Apply Gaussian blur to the impact circle layer and increase its size. Select all the layers and press Ctrl plus Shift plus C to pre-compose them. Call it First Ball Animation. Right-click on the layer, go to Time, and enable Time Remapping. Create keyframes for time remapping, move 2 frames ahead, and create another keyframe. Drag the second keyframe slightly forward. Split the layer by pressing Ctrl plus Shift plus D and increase the scale of the split layer by 30%. To create another ball animation in a different color, go to the project panel and create a folder called Ball Holder 1 file. Drag and drop all the compositions except the background line's composition into this folder. Create another folder called Ball Holder 2 file. Duplicate all the compositions in the first folder and place them into the second folder. Now go under the duplicate composition and change their colors and sizes as needed. Then replace the composition by selecting the layer and pressing the Alt key on your keyboard and drag and drop the duplicate layer on it. Create a new composition, call it Main Comp, and press OK. Drag and drop the Main Ball Holder 1 and Main Ball Holder 2 compositions into it. Adjust their positions. Right-click on the timeline, create a new adjustment layer, and apply the glow effect. And that's our final animation. So this is our final animation. You can use this technique in many ways for your animations. Don't forget to like, subscribe to this channel, and follow me on Instagram for more amazing content, tips, and tricks. And if you want access to my premium project files, you can find the link in the description. See you in the next tutorial.